100,000 AI calls completely free when you first enable the gateway, and it also stops one overeager project from blowing through your entire company's token budget. Most teams don't even know this exists. Think of an AI gateway as a unified control plane, just like an API gateway, but purpose-built for AI traffic, models, agents, and tools. It sits in front of everything your AI apps call, enforcing security, throttling, and cost guardrails before a request ever reaches an LLM. Under the hood, it's built on Azure API Management, same battle-tested engine that already handles over 3 trillion API requests a month for 38,000 customers. Enterprise AI adoption always follows 3 phases. First, you evaluate models, then you start building apps and agents, and finally you push everything into production. Here's the problem. Without a central governance layer, each team spins up its own LLM endpoints with no shared cost visibility, no token caps, and no audit trail. The AI Gateway solves this by giving every project a single control point. No more sprawl, no more surprise bills. Here's the simple architecture. You configure everything inside Microsoft Foundry's admin console, but behind the scenes it's Azure API Management that does the real work. Foundry is the UI. APIM is the enforcement point. That means the same decade-proven control plane that orchestrates nearly 3 million APIs for 38,000 customers is now handling your AI workloads, with token quotas, rate limits, and content safety all in one place. But here's what nobody tells you about scaling AI without a gateway. It looks free until the first unexpected, painfully high bill. On the left, the old way. Every developer calls models directly, nobody sees the cost, and one fat prompt loop takes down the whole shared quota. On the right, the AI Gateway gives you per-project token limits, central billing, and a single pane of glass for every AI call your organization makes. Quick recap before you dive in. The AI Gateway governs every AI call your org makes. It's powered by the same Azure API Management that already secures millions of enterprise APIs, and you can turn it on inside Microsoft Foundry in a couple of clicks. Now here's your concrete next step. Open Foundry, go to Operate Admin Console, and see if the AI Gateway tab is already there. Bookmark foundry.azure.com. That's where you'll live. Sign in with your Azure credentials, then look at the top of the portal for the new Foundry toggle. This is critical. AI Gateway only exists in the new Foundry experience. Flip it on, and you'll see a new Operate menu. That's where the Admin Console and the AI Gateway tab live. The number one mistake I see. Someone logs into the old Foundry portal and can't find any AI Gateway settings. That's because the Gateway tab only exists in New Foundry. So check the toggle at the top. New Foundry gives you Operate, Admin Console, and the AI Gateway tab. The old interface doesn't. If you're stuck, flip the toggle first. Here's the exact 5-click path from the official docs. Start in Operate, Admin Console, click the AI Gateway tab, hit Add AI Gateway, and pick a new API Management Basic v2 instance. That's the one with 100,000 free calls included. The first 100K calls are free, not monthly. Then add your existing projects. If your Foundry resource has public network access disabled, you must use a standard v2 or premium v2 with a private endpoint instead. The free basic tier won't work in a private-only setup. One AI Gateway instance serves every project in your Foundry resource. All client requests hit the same gateway, which then routes to project A, B, or C based on identity. The magic. Each project gets its own tokens per minute cap. So even if project A spikes, it cannot eat project B's capacity. You set one ceiling per project, and APIM enforces it instantly. No more cross-team resource wars. When you enable AI Gateway in Foundry, it provisions an Azure API Management Basic v2 instance. And that instance comes with 100,000 free calls included, no strings attached. For a development or staging setup, that's practically zero cost. More than 1,200 enterprise customers are already running their AI workloads through this same gateway in production, so you're starting on a proven, scalable foundation. The developer tier is low cost. Great for learning. But check the current Azure pricing page. Foundry defaults to basic V2 for a reason. It's production grade and gives you those 100,000 free monthly calls. When you need to lock things down with private endpoints or VNet isolation, move up to standard V2 or premium V2. Same AI gateway capabilities, just more network control and scale. A traditional API gateway sees HTTP requests. It counts them, authenticates them, maybe checks a rate limit. An AI gateway understands what's inside those requests. It counts input and output tokens, enforces token per minute caps, applies prompt safety filters, and can even cache LLM responses semantically. Same intent, different words, and you avoid a fresh call to the model. Here's the token governance flow. A client sends a prompt, and the AI gateway first checks the project's token quota using the built-in rate limit with token counter dimension. If the project is still under its tokens per minute, the request goes through. The model returns its completion, and the gateway immediately logs the token consumption, recording both prompt and completion tokens. If the project hits the cap, the gateway returns HTTP 429 too many requests and stops spending your budget. Once the gateway is created, you manage limits at the project level. In the AI Gateway tab, select your gateway, add a project, and set its tokens per minute. A real-world example: cap project A at 10,000 TPM so a misbehaving agent can't burn through the shared capacity. If needed, add a daily ceiling. No code, just a few clicks. The single most common pitfall is enabling AI Gateway on a Foundry resource and never configuring per-project limits. Without caps, every project burns tokens as fast as it wants. A runaway agent can exhaust the entire subscription budget. The gateway literally exists to enforce those boundaries, so as soon as it's created, go add a TPM cap to every project. It takes 2 minutes and saves you from a very expensive phone call. Model Context Protocol, MCP, is an open standard that lets tools describe their capabilities so AI agents can discover and call them without hard-coded integrations. The AI Gateway uses API Center to register any MCP server, whether it's a Bing search connector, an internal SQL database, or a custom tool running on premises. Once synced, those tools instantly appear in Foundry's inventory, ready for any agent in the project. Registering an MCP server is straightforward. First, paste the server URL into API Center. Second, trigger a sync to your API management instance. Third, the tools instantly show up in the Foundry inventory. Because MCP servers can run anywhere, on Azure, on-premises, or in another cloud, the gateway becomes your single discovery broker for every tool your AI teams need. The Medium walkthrough by Arno Tenslin shows the bring your own gateway concept in action. Infrastructure as code with Terraform spins up Foundry and deploys a model, then wires the model through your own APIM instance as the AI gateway. The result: a single, OpenAI endpoint that enforces all token limits, logs every call, and keeps you in full control of the gateway's behavior. To reproduce the demo, start by cloning the repository Arno Tenslin AI Model Gateway Demo. Then run Terraform apply on the hub module. This provisions Foundry, deploys the model, and sets up the APM gateway. Finally, check the Azure portal to confirm your model deployments are ready. Because the entire setup is defined as code, it's repeatable, auditable, and governable from day one. Once the APIM instance is linked, you expose a single or OpenAI endpoint. The gateway uses a static backend resource that points directly to your Azure OpenAI model's endpoint URI. That's the static discovery method. Foundry doesn't need auto-discovery when you define the target explicitly. The gateway validates the subscription key and proxies the request. Security, routing, and governance in one hop. Run this exact curl command from the Medium walkthrough. The key piece isn't just that it works. It's that the Azure API management instance is now governing every call, validating the API key, enforcing any token quota you've set, and logging usage. Even a single ad hoc query is fully auditable, right from the start. Left side, a developer's agent loops, and 500,000 tokens vanish in an hour. Costs can add up quickly. Check current Azure pricing for exact figures, and nobody notices until the invoice lands. Right side, the gateway enforces a 10,000 token per minute cap. The runaway stops in seconds, an alert triggers, and your wallet barely feels it. That's the difference between hope-based budgeting and real governance. If you're eyeing Azure AI certs, here's the lay of the land. Start with the free AI 900 learning path on Microsoft Learn for Fundamentals. For the associate level, AI 102 covers managing AI solutions at scale, exactly what employers want in AI platform engineer roles. And the GitHub repo Azure Samples AI Gateway gives you hands-on labs that align with the exam. Always confirm current costs on Microsoft Learn before scheduling. The AI 102 cert focuses on managing AI solutions at scale with Azure services. When a candidate walks in explaining how they'd set up token quotas, load balancing, and semantic caching with an AI gateway, hiring managers notice. That's the real-world competency that gets you the AI platform engineer job. You set token limits, you monitor costs, yet your bill still spikes. Here's the part almost everyone misses. Even if the client disconnects midstream, the model may keep generating tokens, and you might still be billed for every one of them. Most teams never cap the maximum tokens on their requests, so the model just rambles until it hits its own limit, or the client aborts. The fix? Hard code a max tokens cap right inside the APIM policy using the built-in token limit policy. That way, no matter what the application sends, your budget stays safe. It's like installing a cutoff valve on a faucet that never stops running. This bar chart shows the difference. With APIM's token limit policy in place, say a 5,000 token per minute cap, consumption stays flat at 5K. Without it, a runaway app could spike to 50,000 tokens per minute, costing you a fortune. The policy ensures that even if 20 developers hammer the endpoint, total consumption never breaks the guardrail. It's the single most impactful line of policy you can write. Proactive alerting is the difference between catching a runaway spend in 5 minutes or discovering it on next month's invoice. First, turn on diagnostic settings in your APIM instance and pipe logs to log analytics. Then, create a metric alert for token consumption. Trigger when it crosses a threshold you define, like 80% of your expected quota. Finally, hook into application insights to visualize per project burn. You can even set up automated actions like pausing the deployment. 3 concrete steps. 0 bill shock. To avoid provider throttling or a single region outage, use APIM's load balancer policy to distribute requests across multiple Azure OpenAI instances. Configure a backend pool with East US and West Europe. APIM will round robin or weight by capacity, improving resilience and smoothing out rate limits. Your apps hit the gateway, and the gateway decides which region serves the request all transparently. Semantic caching is the secret weapon that can significantly reduce your token costs. Check current price to measure exact savings. When a prompt arrives, APIM's LLM semantic cache lookup policy computes an embedding and checks for similarity to previous queries. If "what is Azure" was asked before, a new prompt "tell me about Azure" will match and return the cached answer. No model call, 0 token cost. Pair it with LLM Semantic Cache Store to cache new responses, and you've built a self-optimizing cost saver. It's like giving your gateway a memory, and it's native to APIM. You can plug Azure AI Content Safety straight into your AI Gateway policy. Before a prompt ever touches the model, the gateway scans it for hate, sexual content, violence, and self-harm categories. If a request fails the safety check, it gets rejected immediately. No token cost, no model processing, and no embarrassing AI-generated toxic reply. That one policy saves money and legal headaches in a single line of configuration. The common mistake. Assuming the model will filter itself, don't count on it. Block at the gate. Before we jump into agents and MCP tools, pause here. You now have a robust governance baseline. Token quotas keep projects from hogging capacity, semantic caching can sharply reduce your token costs, and content safety blocks toxic prompts before they become a liability. These three policies are the minimum viable governance. Now, take action. Verify the quotas work with a test call, monitor your cache hit rate, and set up weekly content safety log reviews. Then move on to the next layer. But here's the part almost everyone gets wrong. AI agents don't just chat, they need to act. They look up orders, query databases, call external APIs. MCP, the Model Context Protocol, is an open standard that lets agents discover and use tools without hard-coded integrations. The problem is, without a gateway, an agent could blindly call an unvetted external tool, opening a massive security and cost risk. The AI gateway acts as the safe broker. Every tool discovery and invocation flows through it, so you get governance, logging, and policy enforcement on every single call. Think of it as the doorman for your agents. Here's a concrete example. A customer support bot receives, "Where is my order?" The agent via the gateway discovers an MCP tool called OrderDB. It calls the tool, fetches the tracking number, and replies, "All logged, all governed." Without the gateway, that agent might have tried to hit a raw database endpoint with no auth. With the gateway, security and cost controls are enforced on every hop. The radial diagram shows the flow. The AI gateway sits at the center, mediating every interaction. 3 mistakes trip up almost every MCP newcomer. First, you spin up an MCP server, but forget to lock it down. Unauthenticated tool endpoints are an open door. Second, you register tools in API Center, but never sync them to APIM, so the gateway knows nothing about them. Third, you name 2 tools the same thing across projects. Agents then pick the wrong one. The one-step fix. Before you let any agent touch a tool, use the Foundry portal to test tool discovery and confirm the gateway can see it. Time for a quick recap. We've locked down content safety, set token quotas, enabled caching, and brought MCP tools under governance. Now you need to actually see what's happening. That's where Application Insights comes in. Enable it in your APIM instance settings, and you'll get a dashboard tracking token consumption per model per project, latency, error rates, and even how many times each MCP tool was called. You can filter by agent ID, so if one agent starts acting up, you spot it immediately. This week's concrete step. Turn on Application Insights in your APIM instance and verify the token metrics show up. Let's talk cost. These bars show relative pricing. GPT 3.5 Turbo is the most affordable, GPT 4o is moderately more, and GPT 4 can be significantly more expensive per token. Exact numbers shift by region and tier. Always check the official Azure pricing page before building a budget. The real takeaway, without governance and rate caps on your gateway, an agent running on a high-cost model can consume a monthly budget in hours. Understand the order of magnitude, then enforce limits. Even free tier models aren't a free-for-all. Many providers offer limited free tokens per minute in certain regions, perfect for development. But what many miss? Free tier traffic still passes through your AI gateway. That means you can apply token quotas, caching, and safety policies on free models, building your governance muscle before spending a cent. When you do move up to pay-as-you-go and the meter starts running, you'll already have the guardrails in place. If you're targeting a role where you'll build, secure, or govern AI on Azure, the AI 102 is the one you want. AI 900 is a fine warm-up. It gives you the vocabulary. But AI 102 dives into APIM integration, security, monitoring, and the exact patterns we've been discussing. The gateway concepts map directly to AI 102 exam objectives. Take AI 900 first if you're brand new, then pivot to AI 102 as your launchpad. The number one prep mistake, relying on videos alone. AI 102 is a hands-on exam, so here's your concrete plan. Start with Microsoft Learn. It's free and official. Use John Saville's Exam Cram for a structured overview. When you're ready, grab Measure Up practice tests, Check the current price on their website. They're the closest thing to the real exam and will show you exactly where you're weak. But the secret weapon, the Azure Samples AI Gateway GitHub repository. That's the hands-on lab that gets you actually configuring AI gateway policies, MCP tools, and application insights. Free tier plus hands-on. The proven path to pass. Let's build this in 30 days. Week 1. Sign into Foundry, Azure.com. Make sure the new Foundry toggle is on. Head to Operate Admin Console. Add an AI gateway. That's it. You're now governing AI traffic in under 5 minutes. Week 2. Dive into token limits. Create 2 projects and give each a distinct TPM cap. Then, grab the endpoint and a curl command. Fire a request to see the gateway in action. Week 3. It's time for agents and MCP tools. Register a simple MCP server, maybe a built-in echo function, then wire up an agent in Foundry that uses it. Week 4. Put on the ops hat. Turn on semantic caching. Set up an alert in log analytics for when token usage hits 80% of your cap, and simulate a budget-busting scenario by sending way too many requests and watching the gateway say no. Bonus points if you break it on a Friday afternoon. By the end, you're not just a viewer. You're the person on the team who actually knows how to govern AI at scale. Here's what a production-ready enterprise AI governance layer looks like. Multiple Foundry projects feed into a shared AI gateway running on Azure API Management Premium v2. That's the tier that supports virtual network integration, critical for compliance. From the gateway, traffic passes through VNet and an Azure firewall, then reaches your AI models via private link, never touching the public internet. All activity flows into log analytics for observability, and Azure policy enforces organizational guardrails. This architecture creates a hard boundary around regulated workloads, so you can prove to auditors exactly how AI is being used and who's paying for it. The one-click AI gateway is brilliant, but sometimes you need more control than Foundry gives you. Microsoft's Bring Your Own Gateway feature lets you use your own API management instance. Why would you? Because you might need to add custom request transforms, like stripping sensitive headers before they reach the model. Or insert a circuit breaker that reroutes to a backup model if the primary starts throwing errors. Or enforce authentication via your corporate identity provider. When you import a Foundry API into your own APIM, the gateway still shows up in the Foundry interface, but every policy, every limit, every cache rule, every transform lives in your instance. You become the platform engineer, not just a consumer. Here's the flow when you run your own gateway. You deploy an API management instance on any tier, even the free developer tier for testing. You then import the model backends into APIM as regular backends and configure a static discovery endpoint that exposes the model list. Foundry's agent service reads that endpoint, discovers which models are available, and registers your gateway in Foundry's inventory. When an agent sends a prompt, the request goes to your APIM, which applies your custom policies before forwarding to the actual model. The beauty. Foundry sees your gateway as just another trusted endpoint, but you hold all the levers. When you're ready to roll your own, here's the exact sequence. Step 1. Deploy an API management instance, basic, standard, or premium, depending on your networking needs. Step 2. Import the Foundry API into APIM. You can do it from the portal or with a REST call. Step 3. Configure backends. Each backend points to a specific model endpoint, like Azure OpenAI. Step 4. Set up managed identity for authentication, so APIM can securely call the models without keys floating around. Step 5. Test with a client SDK, like the Azure AI Inference SDK, to confirm everything works. Pro tip. Use static discovery for demos. It's simpler and avoids dynamic provisioning headaches. So which one do you pick? If you want speed and you're starting fresh, the one-click manage path deploys a free basic v2 gateway with the first 100,000 calls on the house. No recurring monthly grant. You set token limits per project in the Foundry portal and you're done. It's perfect for small teams and first projects. But if you're building an enterprise AI platform that needs network isolation, custom rate limiting by user, or multi-model failover, bring your own gateway is the answer. You eat the APIM cost, starting at a few dollars a month, but you gain complete control. The right choice depends on whether you're prototyping or building a platform. A quick reality check: the AI gateway integration is in public preview. That means the UX you see today could change, and pricing isn't finalized yet. My advice: absolutely start playing with it now. The free tier is free after all, but don't wire it into your production-critical workloads until it's generally available. By the time that GA badge drops, you'll already be the expert everyone comes to. So let's recap the 3 wins you can take from this video and implement today. First, you can spin up an AI gateway in Foundry in under 5 minutes for free and start governing model traffic. Second, you can cap token usage per project with a couple of clicks, preventing one team from blowing the AI budget. Third, you can register MCP tools and agents in the gateway and govern them just like you govern models. These aren't theoretical. These are exactly the skills enterprises are hiring AI platform engineers to do right now. The only way to make this stick is to build something. Right now, go to foundry.azure.com. Make sure the new Foundry toggle is on. Create a resource, head to the admin console, and enable AI Gateway. Then add a project, deploy a GPT 3.5 model. It's cheap. Grab the endpoint and key, and fire a request via curl or the built-in chat playground. The Azure Samples AI Gateway repo on GitHub has full labs that walk you through every step. Spend 30 minutes, actually do it, and you'll walk away with a real credential-agnostic skill. If you want to see where cloud and AI gateway skills fit on the bigger career map, grab the free IT Career Roadmap. Link is in the description. It shows the progression from cloud admin to AI platform engineer, and which certs and skills matter at each stage. If this video helped, hit like, subscribe, and the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.